Hello and welcome to another installment of the Dugout Podcast. I'm your co-host Andrew, alongside my co-host as always, Marissa. Hi Marissa, have you had a good week so far?
Yeah, not bad so far.
Nice to hear.
Well,
Okay, second thoughts.
since Sunday, maybe from around 2, I would say my day was fine.
Okay, fair enough. No, I think our listeners know what you're referring to, but let's get the cat out of the bag. She's referring to the Chelsea-Tottenham game. But Marissa, I don't think we should start at that game. I think we should turn our focus first and foremost to the Brentford versus Manchester United encounter.
Oof.
Yes.
Wow.
So what do you think? Brentford came out 4-0 winners in that contest. Well, should I even say contest though? But anyways, Brentford came out 4-0 in that game, in that encounter, whatever. What were your thoughts? What do you take away from the game?
I mean, what a shambles. And this is in no way any disrespect meant towards Brentford. But come on, if you had told anybody that Brentford would be 4-0 up before 40 minutes hit, they would have laughed at you. No matter what state Manchester United are in, nobody could have predicted that. That was amazing. I was in between doing stuff around the house and watching the game, and it felt like every time I look at the screen, another goal had gone in at half. Well, before in the first half, I was just appalled at what I saw. And I mean, I know we're gonna dig into the goals, but I think my biggest takeaway is more of a reinforcement, and that this Manchester United team lacks leadership. I mean, before Brentford first goal, it's not like Man United were terrible. But from the time Brentford's first goal went, you just see heads drop. Like you see no leadership on that pitch. The only person that was trying to rally everyone, and what was Ronaldo, the same person that they're saying is the problem. He's the only one trying to rally the troops and say, come on guys. You have Harry Maguire looking like a deer in headlights. Literally. And I was just there's a lot to pick. Well, literally a bit too, but okay. At least to me. But there's a lot to talk about. I think Ten Hag's use of Eriksen as a deep line midfielder was a bit baffling to me. De Gea was poor. I thought the defending for the third and fourth goals was poor. Everything was poor. Everything was poor. Even Ten Hag looked not lost. Ten Hag looked genuinely shocked by what he was seeing.
He looked a bit baffled.
I mean,
he certainly looked baffled.
Poor guy.
And when I say baffled, I mean like it's almost like he's looking like, well, where do I go from here? I was not expecting the situation to be this bad.
Yeah, I mean, the man was literally shaking his head. Like, it was like in utter disbelief. I kind of felt for him, honestly. I don't know, boy. That game was
such a kind-hearted person when you're ready.
Oh, thanks.
I guess it's only Liverpool that get your victory.
Oh my gosh!
It is fine.
Let's not go there.
But
you predicted whatever. You predicted a 1-1 in this game, or was that me? I can't even remember.
I think I might have. Well, I can't remember.
I think we both went 1-1.
Yeah,
I think we both went 1-1.
I might have predicted a draw. I have to listen back to last week's, but I can't remember what I predicted, to be honest.
Not 4-0.
Yeah, it definitely was not 4-0. But yes, so ready for my thoughts on the game?
Sure, I know you have many.
All strapped in. I don't have that
Gosh.
much. I don't have that much. Right. So in all seriousness, no. Brentford, Manchester United 4-0. I didn't watch the game as it was playing. Had a couple things, I was on the road, but I got updates on the score, not because I was asking questions, but just such as the shock factor of the score line. People were messaging me, "Oh, it's this score." I was like, I actually couldn't believe it. I was like, "Oh, you're lying." He gonna be pulling my leg. Turns out that they weren't, and it was a very one-sided affair in the first half. I get what you said about when the first goal went in, heads began to drop. And I think that's natural because of the nature of the goal. It's a shot that David De Gea, 9 times out of 10, should have been saving. In fact, 10 times out of 10, he should save that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just a blatant error. And you can't legislate for that as a manager or a team. So that's on David De Gea alone. What I really want to pinpoint is the second goal and the fourth goal. The third goal is a corner, set piece. It was a mismatch between Ben Mee and Martinez. It was.
Yeah.
So I guess, there was only one favorite there, and the favorite came out on top, as expected, in that, battle. But
before you go on to the other goals, though, I know a lot of people have been using this opportunity to talk about Martinez's height, and I get it. But I still also think that he can't be the only one to take blame for that. You literally have Brentford winning 2 headers in the box. That shouldn't be allowed to happen. Even if Ben Mee is his man, which is a total mismatch, you have other defenders there that should be looking to. I mean, I think the first header from Tony was a very good header, so give him credit for that. But still, the other defenders in the box have to be alive to the fact that, okay, Tony is going to likely to win this header at the back post. Let's be alive to get the second ball. So I don't agree with all the pinning it on Martinez. Yes, he's short, he can't do anything about it, but still. So that's all I want to say about that.
Fair enough, but I brushed over it because it wasn't really nice for me to talk about, to be honest, because the corner, I don't really want to discuss it because, quite frankly, okay, this is one thing that should happen. I think if you look at the Man U back line, you have Dalla, Maguire, Martinez, Shaw. It's not really a big back line. So if Maguire is your best header of the ball, then Maguire should really go and mark Brentford's best header of the ball, which I would imagine, is Ben Mee. Just from the Burnley days, I would assume Ben Mee will have to be one of the better headers of the ball. So why is Martinez marking him and not Maguire? That is a question that they will have to answer, not me. I don't want to answer it right now. I just think it was poor planning.
Yeah, yeah.
When you work in your defensive strategy and you decide who can mark, or if you're marking zonal, man marking, or a combination of, you should tell yourself unless you're marking zonal, your best center back should man mark the other opponents, at least one center, at least the better, of the 2 center halves in terms of the taller one or whatever. But that's neither here or there. Like you said, there was there was a very slow reaction to the initial header that was won. So such is life. But for the second goal, and this, I know you mentioned about Eriksen as a deep line midfielder type of thing was a bit of a surprise to you. But remember last week I said that I expected him to go to a 4-3-3 with 2 8s and 1 sitter. I kind of interpret the midfield composition as Eriksen and Fernandes being 2 8s and Fred being the sitter. So
but that wasn't how it worked out.
That wasn't how it worked out. But remember I said to you that I asked Ten Hag plays a fluid midfield system where no one fits the position necessarily. They all interchange.
Right.
So that's it. But I didn't have a problem or an issue with the composition of the midfield. I know I heard some comments about, you pick Fernandes and Eriksen who, they lack physicality, they lack aggression in terms of, the challenge or whatever case be or tackle, and that's just inviting Brentford to get on top of you, etc., etc. That might be true, that might be valid, but my whole thing is if you match effort and attitude with the opposing team, your superior technical ability then should come true, right? And your quality should come true. So first thing is that Man U didn't really seem to have a stomach for the fight in the first half. Let's be clear. There wasn't nobody really running around. Like you said, when Ronaldo was really remonstrating with people. So that's a problem. But for the second goal that was conceded, and I guess hopefully, it's at some point in future we'll be able to, in future episodes have a screen or something, when we hopefully get the video that we can, do at least do freeze frames and stuff like that, talk about it.
Right.
To really get what I'm saying. But Man U try to play off from the back, which is Ten Hag style, and Man U should be a team that is, brave enough to try to do that. The two center back split. So they're doing the right things. Two center back split. Because Martinez played the ball back to the gear. Two center back split. Shaw and Dalla are, a little bit further afield, but positioning it so you can see the back four.
Right.
Shaw has back to goal. So basically what the game's mindset, having received the pass from Martinez, the game must tell himself, okay, who is the free man here? Because if you consider the goalkeeper a part of the team, which he is, if you remember, Brighton were basically pressing man for man, but it was 5-on-6 goal. The game, it would be the sixth man. But somebody got to be free, right? So basically, Shaw has about to go. I think Shaw should be more side on so he can, receive the ball if the game chooses the option. But Shaw was not the best option either because he had a guy come in to press him. Martinez had a guy coming to press him. Maguire was to Gear's right, but it was a guy. Remember, I think it was Tony that was closing down the Gear. Like, sorry, sent me the Gear to Maguire, so it depends on what decision the Gear chooses. But obviously, the pass to Maguire will be risky. You have Dalla on the opposite end, but his man is coming to press him, but his man's a bit further away. Now, Shaw's defender was. So, could you play the ball to Dalla? Maybe because Dalla will have enough time to control it and then look forward, or even play back to Maguire, who's facing forward, and then you can, Maguire will have the opportunity to, knock the ball out of the field or advance forward with the ball. His choice. So that was one of the options. The other option would have been, what Ericsson did. Let me deal with that first. Ericsson did the right thing, which is that Ericsson had a guy come in to press him. Well, before the guy comes to press him, maybe two center back split. Ericsson's going to come through the middle to receive the ball, right?
Right.
The whole idea behind that is that you want the midfield. If the midfield follows you, it opens up a gap in the midfield area where the other midfielder or someone should really dropping. So at the gate, and then you got the ball over Ericsson and pick up that person.
Right.
And that's not, when they saw the freeze, they thought Fred should have done that, but really true, it's not Fred to do it because Fred has a man on him too. So then they look to the right and they see Sancho when he right hand side just stand up, I touch lane. So Sancho got to raise his hand and tell the guy, like, hey, knock the ball over here, or come a little bit more century to pick it up. Right? But the guy plays the ball to Ericsson. Ericsson does the right thing as well. When the guy plays the ball to him, he tries to play the ball to the way, but doesn't get the pass right. It gets cut out. So people will look at the game for making the pass in the first place. Like I said, it was not the safest passing option, but he traded. Ericsson made a mistake for when you traded not the ball to Maguire and got it wrong, and that's what allowed Brentford to, But at the same time, I think criticism has to go to both men, the Gay and Ericsson. Ericsson for the mistake, for the error with trying to pass the ball. The Gay for maybe choosing him because that was not the best passing option.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's why, as much as Ten Hag could coach his men on the training field, these men under 13s or 14s no more, these are seasoned professionals. The Gay has never been blessed with playing the ball from the back, which tells me that, it's maybe not a skill that is necessarily in his repertoire or that he's most comfortable with. So trying to play from the back with the Gay as your goalkeeper might be a problem going forward. And you might get these mistakes unless his decision making becomes better. Because even if there's no, but like I said, I explained what the free man was. Really and truly, I think the free man might have been Sancho on the wing, not the ball up to him.
But that brings me to another point that I find, and it's a criticism that I've had with certain teams. Yes, your manager is going to tell you play out from the back, but it doesn't mean that 100 times out of 100 you have to play out from the back. You have to be able to use your game awareness and say, okay, all of my men that I would like to pass to that are close to me, these look like risky passes. Let me see what else is on. And like you said, Sancho was on. So yes, Sancho may have been a longer pass. It may not have been what the manager wanted, but I'm sure Ten Hag would have preferred him actually try that Then try
Right.
the Ericsson thing. Because Brentford knew what they were going to do. Hence why they had men getting ready to press at any given occasion. So you have to be able to mix it up sometimes, and they find there are teams that don't like to do it, and then they play themselves into trouble.
Well, okay, so I agree with you, but the only thing I would say differently to that is that I'm not so sure if it's a case where is that teams don't want to go against the manager's instructions. Like you said, I think you have to it's all about in-game intelligence, because as much as you train or as much as you prepare, right? At the end of the day, you have to be able to assess the situation quickly and then adapt to it or counter what the opponent trying to do. So to me, it's more a case where, or the question is rather, is it more a case where these men are just not good at reading the game and what should be done in the moment? Because anyone who trains to play over the back, you kind of go through different scenarios that could happen if the team presses you and does this, or if the team presses you and does that, right? And you kind of have an idea in your mind, okay, this is what we need to do to play out from the back. But like you said, sometimes in the moment when you get the ball, you may be under pressure, or it may be a case where, okay, it may be a bit difficult to run that usual routine because, maybe someone's marked. So then, okay, if he's not a free man, somebody else has to be a free man. Or, what's my best available pass? And what I'm trying to say with the gear is that not so much that, I think, like you said, I probably prefer for the ball to go in Rosette. But I don't think it's that they don't want to keep the ball in Rosette. I just simply think it's a case where I don't think the gear has a skill set. It might be a case where he doesn't have a skill set. He uses feet to find the free man, or find the best possible option. He might just be one of those keepers who, prefer to launch the ball up the field. But yeah,
I also think that the warning sign, and this is my other reason why I feel that he should have launched it in that moment. There was a warning moment earlier. I don't know if when you watch the highlights you would have seen it, but I can't remember. It wasn't as close as the pass as close as the pass to Ericsson. I think it was a little further up, and they lost the ball, and Maguire made a kind of almost like a last-ditch tackle at the edge of the area, and he got booked, and Brentford got a free kick. So for me, that was the warning. Like, if you man about to get pressed, or if you suspect is not the best thing to do, just try to kick it long. Don't play yourself into trouble and lose a goal like you did. And Maguire was actually lucky that he had cover, because he could have gotten a straight red. But yeah, like you said, it's just a matter of, are these players good enough at playing out from the back effectively? Are they good enough to actually read the game and see what is required in a moment?
Right,
which goes back to our issue from last week, which is personnel to play a 10-high system.
Right, but the thing is with playing for your back is about decision making, really, more than anything else. About decision making and trusting that your teammate can make the pass and find you. And not only trusting that he can make the pass and find you, but trusting that he makes the right pass in order to find you. Because if you won't get the ball to your right hand side, it doesn't necessarily have to go 40 yards. Can I play it to the guy there and then let him switch it? Or vice versa.
True.
I'm gonna watch Man Utd. I went through the game yesterday, last night actually. I watched Man Utd. I realized that this man can't play football. Marissa, we're gonna talk. When I say can't play football, I mean, like,
I won't say that.
No, I can give you examples. Decision making is poor. Like, for example, the fourth goal, which is what I want to get to, and this really highlights decision making of some players. Jadon Sancho. Well, my criticism of Jadon Sancho from the time I really saw him play, which is the European Championship last year, rather, would have been, I feel as though he plays a bit too timid, right?
He was the one that lost the ball in box.
Correct. But it's not about him losing the ball. You can lose possession, but you got to ask yourself, okay, does he decision making again? Does he see the pass? Does he make the right decision with the pass? If the ball, first thing first, I think someone played the ball to Martinez, and Martinez took it, just switched the ball to the right hand side. He received the ball, turn left, then turn back. You know what I mean? Like, okay, the ball has to go to the right hand side. Eventually, they get to Maguire. Where then plays it to Sancho, or that, like I remember, was a little 1-2. Sancho came inside with the ball, drove at the Brentford defense. The right pass would have been Bruno Fernandes, who's on the edge of the 18-yard box, waiting for the pass to take on the shot. He didn't pass. He played the ball to Fred. He played the ball, like Fred made it outside run. He played the ball through that space. Fred kept the ball alive and retained it. Remember, it was like a little sequence. Fred retained the ball, got it back to Dalla, then got it back to Sancho. And Sancho received the ball. His first touch was heavy. So, from playing first touch heavy, he can't take a shot. But really and truly, when he received the ball, he's turning, going back into traffic. Why not receive the ball and lay it back off to Fernandes, who hasn't moved from his position?
Right.
So then you lose the ball. And let's give credit to Brentford. It was a poor goal, maybe poor defending. But I don't want to call clearance. That was too accurate. Ball up to 20.
No, that was a pass.
Exactly, that was a pass.
100% a pass.
Ivan Tony played the pass he life. You know what I'm saying? I tell you, the pass he life. You will never get another ball kicked like that again. Tony, the bait was to perfection. The striker just had to run onto it, must look Shaw could do it, and Shaw couldn't bring it down because of red.
Right. He tried though.
Yeah, but it was a red. Shaw was seeing a red. There's no way Shaw could fall that man. That guy there not get red. So, but yeah, so I think the fourth goal was the pick of the bunch, pick of the goals, down to 20 pass. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
but still though, Luke Shaw though, he honestly when he was, I think it was what's the guy name Embuema or something like that, the guy that scored the goal. When he was chasing, he didn't seem like if he was like treading water. He seemed either the fellow was real quick or Luke Shaw is not fully fit. One or two.
I feel like when you get beat,
is it?
I feel like when you get beat, it's just automatically people muscling you and just faster than you. I think I was in good form. Shaw would look half a yard faster. I don't know. But I was because I don't know. It's really weird. It's really weird because basically 3 passes, score goal. The clearance, 20 pass, and then the control.
Wasn't it 2?
But 2, yeah, fair enough. 2.
Yeah.
Control, and then slide the ball past the gear. But I blame, well, not really. I don't blame is the right word, but I think the responsibility goal should go to Sancho because Sancho had 2 opportunities to pass the ball to Fernandes for a free shot, and he made the wrong decision. The pass, and he wanted to go back and watch it. Fernandes is right there at the top of the box. He ignores him, plays the ball. Fred saves it and rescues it and recycles it. It comes back to him again, and he turned it into traffic. He lost the ball around 3 Brentford players. What part of the game?
Yeah.
So
Brentford were excellent. Brentford were excellent on the day, though. As poor as Man Utd were, Brentford were very good.
Right.
I thought so.
I agree. And it's a big win to beat Manchester United. A team like Brentford, that is a win that will, stay long in the memory for them as a club and as a fan base.
Yeah.
For sure. Probably the biggest win in their history. But yeah, like I said, Man Utd.
Well, they did. Aren't they a London club?
Yes, they are.
Well, they did beat us at home 4-1 last season. So
yeah, but you're Man Utd.
Yeah, sorry. But that's away from home.
You know what I mean? Like, you're not.
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
But I mean, still, London derby away from home. Anyways, whatever. The less I remember about that game, the better.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
But just to close up on Man Utd, like I said, the squad is very poorly assembled as a result of different things. Constant change of managers, and I guess not really a clear plan about the players that they want to sign and how then they want to play. Because no team, it's just like a disjointed parts.
Yeah,
that's what it looks like. And another example of this is what we've been hearing recently in the transfer market as well, where they're concerned. Okay, and they're interested in young.
Everybody though, it just seems to be pulling names out of hat. No.
But I was giving them credit because remember I said a couple of weeks ago that I know the young. I know there's a little bit of doubt about whether he or not he really wants to come. But I like these are like steadfastness and the belief in this is my way and this is my approach and this is where I want and I can wait until it's completely clear that I can't get him.
Yeah.
I can admire that. Thing. And I know it's looking panicky. No, it's looking panicky. Yeah, exactly. So like I said, man, you're looking to met me later. In my prediction for the league position, where they're gonna finish, but we'll see. Their next game is against my team, but right, I don't consider myself good. Must win for both teams. Been a very underwhelming start of the season on both accounts. So yeah, all to play for.
I can't wait to the end of the football segment when we give our predictions. So
Oh dear.
that should
All
be
right.
interesting.
So the next game that we're going to discuss is Tottenham and Chelsea, game that really had everything hot up.
Oh my
It was heated.
gosh.
The temperatures really rose at the bridge. I'm going to let you have it first. So the floor is
Wow.
yours.
Wow. I remember I have like flashbacks, PTSD flashbacks to Sunday. Because I knew Spurs was going to equalize. I just had a feeling. Like when it went in, I just
Mhm.
shook my head because you just have that feeling. I knew it was gonna happen. I remember I messaged you. I was like, I am so pissed. Like I was so in my feet. I was so angry then. Like, but now I have calmed down. So glad
Mhm.
that I'm so glad that we record midweek. It really gives you a time to really come down off of your emotions and reflect. So I
Right,
have
right.
a lot. I have a lot of talking points. We will get to the refereeing decisions, of course we will.
Okay.
But something you said on Sunday to me really stuck with me. I don't want
Mhm.
to give you too much credit, but sometimes you just come with some really good objective viewpoints that is kind of bring me down from my emotions. And
Oh,
you
lovely.
said that whatever, don't let it go to your head.
Wait,
Anyways,
can I help?
you said that even though Chelsea fans can feel frustrated from the referee, that we should be more frustrated with the fact that we played so well and didn't win the game. And that's kind of where I am at right now. I'm still pissed off at the referees, and we can get to that. But I just feel like it's the same old story. Havertz had a chance that he should have scored. Sterling missed a chance. He could have scored or at least got on target when it
Right.
was 1-0.
Mhm.
Mount had a chance after Gallagher came on and set him up.
Yeah, I
That
remember
went
that concept.
wide. That
Yeah,
that would that would have sealed the game. That would have been
correct.
3-1 game over. And
Hmm.
I'm just like, people were like, but Chelsea didn't really create much and they already had much shots on goal. We had more than enough chances to kill that game and win that game. 3 shots on target, I think it was at end, does not tell the story of the chances that were missed in that game. And I was just really disappointed to go through this again with Chelsea where you play so well and you are still struggling to hold on to the points at the end of the game. That needs to be addressed, whether in the transfer market, whether on the training ground, something needs to be done. Honestly, we were far the better side, performance wise and tactical wise. I love the team that he selected because funny time I know I'm not a huge fan of Rich James at right centre back, but it was
Hmm.
clear that Tuchel was going to switch between two systems. So it was going to be, and like all the analysis pointed out, and even when you watch back the game too, it was a 4 when we were in possession and a back 3 when we were out of possession. And
Hmm.
so when we were in possession, you saw Loftus Cheek, even though his fixed position was a wing back, he was more in the midfield and he helped. He, Mount, Jorginho, Kante completely dominated Spurs midfield and did not even allow Spurs to get a semblance of control in that game. And even when Conte responded in the second half by going, I think he went to about 4. He went 4-2-4, I think. And Tuchel then decided, okay, let me switch back to my traditional formation. And soon after that is when we scored our second goal. So I felt like tactically it was a great game. I mean, we saw the little bust up on the touchline, but Chelsea had no right clinging on to a 1 goal advantage in the 95th minute. That game should have been done and dusted. As fantastic as we were, that is where my frustration comes. Primarily now that my emotions are a little bit calmer. But, but,
Hmm.
but, but, we have to talk about the refereeing. But
Hmm.
before we get into the refereeing, I'll let you give your input on the game first.
Yeah, sure. Like I said, I felt as though Chelsea, well, like you said rather, I felt as though Chelsea controlled majority of the game. We're definitely dominant side. Tottenham struggle, like you said. y'all have a really tight grip on the midfield, so Tottenham struggled to really knit anything together, especially the first half. They were a little bit better in the second half, and then you saw signs of Tottenham starting to liven up a bit. They really didn't have any choice if they wanted something from the game. I think the difference between Tottenham, I think everyone thinks this as well. Difference is obviously Conte has bought well, and now he's able to bring on some impact players that can potentially change, things when they're not going well. But yeah, the issue, I agree. I think I pointed out before as well. Chelsea doesn't score enough goals to win this league, and you need to score more goals. And I think you need to score more goals because of the greatness of Manchester City. Because Manchester City score almost 100 goals or more every single season since Pep has been there. So if you want to win the title, you can't be scoring just 50 or 60 something goals in league. You got to score more. So yeah, you all need that clinical finisher in the box. And I shouldn't say hopefully. I think you'll get someone in before your transfer window's up, though, for sure. So it'll be interesting. It was a really, really nice tactical battle because Conte did make a change as well when he made the first sub. I brought on Richarlison and stuff like that. Tottenham changed the shape a bit, and that kind of gave him a bit more of a foothold in the game, I felt. And then Tottenham started to get chances themselves. They had one I was fully expecting Harry Kane to score. He kind of shafty, got a bad connection. I think he was kind of off balance as well. They reset himself, tried to get a bit too early, and the ball went wide. So I was surprised about that. I felt as though Rich James did a really, really good job on Mason.
Yeah.
Sean couldn't get any change of good Rich James at all during the time that he was on the pitch, and that was surprising to see because Son is actually one of their better players and oftentimes most effective. So but very, very entertaining game. I'll let you go on the referee decisions first. Go ahead.
I ain't fucking go on the referee decisions yet. I just want to talk about the general refereeing because Tuchel made some really good points. Did you know that Spurs did not get one booking in this game?
You're asking me if I knew that?
Yes. Not one booking. And the fouls that Bentancur and Højbjerg made, Sessegnon as well. So I don't know how Sessegnon got subbed and he did not get at least one booking. You had so many, as Tuchel will say, tactical fouls, and none of their players got bookings. I will insist, we talked about it. I still believe that in any other game you will see that Bentancur on Havertz will be called as a foul. Yes, he got a little bit of the ball. I've seen it already. You get a little bit of ball, fine. But as long as you go through the player, it's a foul.
Question,
I'm
though.
not asking. Go ahead.
Question. When you say tactical fouls, just explain to me what you mean by tactical fouls. I know what I mean, right? But I just want to hear your interpretation. Go ahead.
Basically, when you foul a man because you know he either got the beating of you or is a dangerous position.
Okay.
Like, for instance, when somebody pulled on somebody on the counter attack. That's an example. Right. So, what was I saying before I was so rudely interrupted by your
question?
Your need for explanation.
Clarification, right now because I'm gonna respond to it. I'm here making notes of what you say. So.
Okay.
I'm trying to respond. Yeah, correct.
You made your notes.
Go ahead.
Right. So I believe that it was 100% a foul. And you were saying, was it you or was it Jimmy Carragher? Somebody was saying that you can't go that far back. I understand that, but as you can always rely on, okay, it was probably Jamie then. You can always rely on football Twitter. We had a goal disallowed against, I think it was Southampton, either last season or a season before, and it went 119 seconds back. This was 44 seconds. So this comes to my point about the inconsistency of refereeing in the Premier League. It is too inconsistent. So even if you want to allow the quote unquote foul on Havertz, I don't care what you say. I know what you're going to say when you talk about it. Richarlison was
You know what I guess,
affecting. Yes, because you already said that Richarlison wasn't offside. But I believe Richarlison, not that he wasn't offside, he wasn't
Right.
affecting. He
So don't mislead the listeners, man.
I sorry. You said that he wasn't affecting play, but I saw it again. First of all, Mendy is looking around Richarlison at Højbjerg. Fair enough. But Mendy, I think somebody said it in Sky Sports Studio. Mendy reacted very slowly to the shot. I believe he reacted slowly to the shot because he has to wait until the ball passes Richarlison in order to try to save the ball. And the reason why he has to wait until the ball passes Richarlison is because he does not know if Richarlison is going to get a touch or not. Because he doesn't know if Richarlison is offside. So all of those things need to be. Boy.
You think he doesn't know that?
All of those things need to be. All these things need to be in consideration. Then don't get me started on Romero on Cucurella. First of all,
one at a time.
one at a time. Oh, all right. You go ahead.
To return.
It's just that I started to get hot again, right? My emotions started to go again, so probably a good time for me to.
I want you to keep the heat. No, I want to keep the heat, but I want to got stages. You know what I mean?
All right, no problem. Okay. You go ahead.
So, tactical fouls. Now I get what you're saying, right? And I don't disagree with anything you said. I think Spurs made a number of fouls as well, and I guess I do understand where you're coming from when you throw your hands up in the air and you ask why weren't any of their players cautioned. That's a fair question, but I believe that both teams, because that happens in the game, both teams do that. That will happen where, like you said, someone realizes that someone has a beating off them, or they understand that if the guy gets around them or makes the pass, it's going to leave the side vulnerable. That is true. But there are different ways. There are different ways to make tactical fouls. But there are some players, and you have to look again at the nature of the foul in which it's made, where to the referee it might not look that bad. You know what I mean? It might look coming together. For example, when Reece James pulled, tug back, I can't remember who was me tugging back, but he did tug back somebody, right?
I think it was Simpson. I think that was the first time Son actually got away from him.
Right, and it would have been just first foul, but that type of foul is automatically going to be a character referee.
Understood.
So what I'm trying to say, right, is that the other little fouls talking about, referee might look at them, depends on how the challenge was made. Referee might look at them and be like, unless referee counting, which it should be counting number of fouls the person makes. The reason that some people get away with that is referee might look at that and be like, you know what I mean? That might be coming together, but it's still a foul. Let me just, because Fernandinho at Manchester used to do a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Foul, and never get booked. So being at Liverpool do a lot too. Sometimes he get booked eventually, but he's doing a lot too. He's making all those niggling fouls. And then, eventually somebody might go around whispering in your ear and say, well, referee ear rather, and say, well, yeah, this man before that fouls already. He ain't booking yet. So but I think the one that stands out in my mind, which is Reece James one for sure. That was a blatant pull, and
yeah,
I can see what you referee get for that. The other ones that the other Tottenham players might have made, like you said, depends on how they met a challenge or whatever case to be.
All right, stick a pin. There was I remember there were at least 2 occasions when we were on the attack and to me blatant let me stop the attack or counter attack, whatever we were doing. Fouls were made and the referee gave the advantage. And even the commentators were like, yeah, surely the referee's going to revisit that. And he never did. So things like that for me is what bugged me. It's like, did he forget? Did he forget that blatant foul was made to stop us from being on the attack? I mean, I
just want to say that, it all depends on how the foul looks. Sometimes that might influence whether the referee, if the referee can get a card or not.
You know my feelings about this referee already. Man sent off Kovacic in the FA Cup final for being fouled by Granit Xhaka. I still can't get over that. But anyways,
fair enough.
Let me come down for my emotions.
Let me get it go quickly. Right. I know. Okay, let me just be clear. I never said it was a foul, did I? I said that
You said
I said it would be very lucky if you get it right, if you get called. It's like that one if he wins, right?
you said it was one that if you get it, it's fine, but you can also
Yeah,
understand.
where
Yeah.
you get it right. 'Cause what I meant by that is that those are that the tackle or the foul rather, as you would call it, is one of them ones where I can see a referee just saying play on. Depends on who the referee again. And Taylor was kind of letting some challenges go, right? Some challenges
Most
that
Spurs challenges go. Put that in there.
well, fair enough. I think that my words are yours. But anyway, he was letting some things go, and like you said, Benakur got Havertz first, in my opinion, as well. He came from slightly behind him, got him first. Then he got a little small touch on the ball. Like I said, I've seen those given. I've also seen those waved on. Neither here or there. And I don't necessarily agree with the comment that the game went too far along for you to bring it back then to that moment and give a free kick if it's a foul, right? What I
Well,
would say
that's what your Liverpool mate Carragher said.
though,
Quite sure if it was Salah ankles in question, he would not be talking about it too far back.
listen, we come on the show to talk about bias, man. We're talking objectively. At least I am. But anyways, my issue ain't necessarily how long because to me, like if it is a foul, it should go back and go this and give Chelsea free kick. So that's not my issue. This wife don't feel y'all could get free kick for that though. I would say wait. Because Tottenham went on the attack, correct? And it was the case where Tottenham kept the ball for a little bit, and then the ball came into the box, and Chelsea actually, for a brief second, but nonetheless, Chelsea retained possession, but then they cleared the ball, then lost it again. So but for the moment Chelsea retains possession, I think to me that's a different phase of play. I look back at our challenge when Havertz any longer. But then when they lost the ball again, so then the only contention, when like you said, Havertz took the shot, they Richarlison, prevent Mendy from adequately, getting to the ball to save it.
Before you comment, did you go back and look like I asked you to?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, all right. Let me hear no.
Right, I don't because so Richarlison, many shot is made. Yes, Richarlison is like kind of in the eyesight of Mendy, and Mendy's like you said, Mendy's looking around him. Richarlison makes a move to his left, and he takes a little glance behind to where the ball is.
Which is also the direction of the ball.
No problem. Let me finish. You talking? I interrupt you, Tyler. Let me talk. Richardson makes a movement. He left. He takes a glance back, see where the ball is, and he actually holds the position and stand. The ball goes behind him, and then it exits the current. Right? But the shot was so far away, right? Because, like to me, yes, because he's running, so obviously gonna make a movement. But I don't think there was an attempt to go and play the ball. I think he actually stops and he loves the ball pass. So I'm not. For me, he didn't make an attempt to get involved in to get on anything like that. I'm not chalking it off for offside. That's just me. We can agree to disagree on that. That's just me. And I am moving from my position.
I am moving from my neither, so we agree to disagree.
I know we disagree, but I just want
but let me not take over. Let me not gloss over the fact that that was stupidness from Jorginho in the box as well.
Let you know that too. But listen, yeah, exactly, because
I don't know what he was doing.
Yeah, exactly. You try to play out. So I'm just saying, I understand, Chelsea fans feeling a bit aggrieved about the initial tackle on Havertz. That could have been a foul. But for the moment Chelsea win back the ball, different phase of play, Chelsea then loses the ball again. I ain't getting back to give back the free kick for that. The offside, debatable. I don't think Richarlison does enough to put off Mendy. You do. Anyway, referees give you a goal. Fine. Y'all took by lead. No, you could talk with Cucurella incident, man. Have at it.
How you could tell me that a man could tell you, take his hand,
pause me,
you to the ground.
I ain't tell you nothing though.
Not you as in you.
Oh,
General you. Take a man by his lovely curly black hair. And
lovely.
Flay him to the ground. And that is not considered a red card. How is that not considered a red card? So you're trying to tell me if Darwin Nunez had
Wait,
took a
wait, 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 wait,
fistful.
wait, let player go. Be an example,
No.
though.
I give you an example because it was the only red card that I saw of the weekend.
All right, go ahead.
If Darwin Nunez had took his fist and grabbed Anderson by his hand and pulled him down, he wouldn't have got him sent off. Is that what that's telling me? Because that's the only thing that is telling me, Andrew. I don't understand. First of all, I ain't care what you say, Auntie. Take a look right at that and he see that.
Patrick, wait, before you going further, right? My opinion on him has changed. But go on.
Oh?
Yeah, I didn't tell you. Yeah, my opinion changed though. But go on. I tell you, my opinion. You're a fresh opinion. I think done. Go on.
Go long. I want to hear it now.
We want to hear my opinion though.
Yeah. Cause I'm really curious as to what changed.
I'll tell you what changed. So initially, right? Like I said, I thought I think I typed that to you. I thought it was a foul on Romero, correct?
Cucurella.
Cucurella, my bad. Romero on Cucurella. Okay, so I thought it was a foul on him initially. Then there was a bit of a question, a bit of a debate as to whether the ball was in play. If the corner had already been taken, we got cleared up. The ball was in play. It's not a case where it happened before the corner was taken. Cool. And then I had a little bit of misgivings about what I thought should happen. But I watched it over yesterday. I discussed it with someone else as well. And I think it was a foul. Well, I would say it's a foul. So it should have been a free kick to Chelsea. That's all I want to say. So we agree on that part. Do I think it was a straight red card? No, I think it was a yellow. Let me explain why before you jump on my throat. He tells us here whatever case it be, but for me, like a red card should be where you do something violent or endangering the safety of opponent. I felt as though it was unsportsmanlike. Did he tug his hair like tug a war? No, so I would have given him a yellow card. I wouldn't have sent him off for that. I would have given him a yellow card, and I would have given you the free kick. And then obviously y'all wouldn't have conceded from the corner. What I would say though is that Andy Taylor, my position changed on this point though.
I know your position changed from this point.
And this point, this is a different discussion though. Because I know when I want to cast Andy Taylor. Andy Taylor maybe deserve to be cast as well. But I would just say this on your behalf, Andy Taylor. Andy Taylor is looking at both of the players. But obviously when the corner is taken, then his island is going to naturally go towards where the ball is coming. The ball was contested in your post. They were more towards the penalty spot. So I don't think Andy Taylor saw that Cucurella was fault. The issue then is what does VAR do? VAR looks at it and says, "All right, card, play on." So then that's a mistake on VAR. No, wait, don't call that me. It's a mistake on VAR's part. VAR should tell the guy to tell Andy Taylor, okay, it is a full stop. I think VAR just checking to see whether or not it's a red for Romero, and they deem it not to be, but it's definitely a foul. So VAR should have told Andy Taylor and communicated that with Andy Taylor. So I think if you're a Chelsea fan, your anger also needs to be directed towards the VAR officials.
As always, I tell you last week, VAR is too much focused on not showing up the on-field referee. My personal opinion. But my thing is that I just need consistency. I disagree with you on the hero poll. I think Darwin Nunez butting his head into Anderson's lip is a lot less violent than somebody taking my head and yanking it to the ground. Just my opinion. But I just personally think that Anthony Taylor has a history of this junk. I will send you a video. I have to send you the video.
I already got videos. I got the one with Harry McGuire when he kicked out with the girl last. That was last season or year before last. I think
the year before last when we were at Spurs and Spurs keeper literally kung fu kick Alonso and he gave a free kick to Spurs before VAR tell him that's a penalty to Chelsea. Seriously, what does this man see when he is on the field? It baffles me. It honestly baffles me.
The thing is, right, I don't believe, listen very carefully, I don't believe that Anthony Taylor has a vendetta against Chelsea Football Club or Chelsea football players or Chelsea football coach. I just think that because at this level, I don't think that's the type of thing happens. I wouldn't expect it to happen. But what I think, your evidence would just suggest that he has a history of making mistakes in Chelsea games. Unfortunately, and you're on the receiving end of those mistakes. But a mistake is a mistake. He's only human. I don't think that he starts the game. I say, I see me today. I ain't gonna sign off this man for this. I ain't gonna sign off this man for that. And I get Chelsea a penalty. I don't think he does that in his mindset. I don't think as he prepares for the game. I don't think he's telling himself, "Oh boy, you do everything to make sure Chelsea doesn't leave this game." But all 3 points, or whatever case, they're just gonna mess up on purpose. I don't think that happens. All right.
Yeah, whatever.
I just think he has a catalog of mistakes against Chelsea. Chelsea fans have certainly taken an account of. I documented.
I have, yes. But there are two other things I just want to mention quickly. One, I really don't know how, even after what happened, even after the outrage, that they could say that Romero is not going to be punished retrospectively. That means you're saying that the VAR decision was okay? That can't be right. That cannot be right. It can't be right. And I just wish that the FA really looks at some of the decisions they made and do better. Second thing I would say, again, this does not take away from the absolutely disgusting defending for the corner that led to the goal. I don't understand how you could basically have three Spurs men basically waiting to head in the ball. So that's on Chelsea too. But it should never get there from the beginning. So we should be on 6 points. I'm not hearing this. Oh, only Man City and Arsenal have won their first 2 games nonsense. As if they've played anybody substantial that anyways. I'm not going that road. I going down Bitter Street. So let me get back off of Bitter Street.
But once I realize, like if one week was me, I know it's you. It's all right. It happens to the best of us. But what you were saying, you made a point just now that was quite important. Yes. I did mention that as well, not to you, but to someone else. I said that, because I think all of Tottenham's corner kits might be the worst in their post. So clearly Tottenham were telling themselves what they might set that, our best chance to get a goal here is to get a flick corner or get someone's hard in their post header. And even the corner initially where the fall was made, Ben Davies wanted the head out in their post. They ball went back there. So my thing is like, our Chelsea, you gotta be ready for it this time. And y'all clearly pitched, clearly didn't learn, or heed the warnings of the direction and where Tottenham was placing the ball for those corner kicks. So it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate for sure. In terms of fisticuffs, I think we have to talk about the managers. That's funny. You guys were funny. I'm going to try to be very, very respectful as I can as I talk about these managers, because I had people who don't back any of the two teams come to jump on my throat over me laughing at the manager's reaction. Anyhow, they got certain teams that don't win a lot. And when they start to win, man, they start to pump and I feel that's the go voice. But anyway,
boy.
What's the truth? The guy trying to me tell me, you know what I mean? When you're talking about, man, the guy tell me that the hope that, a player of mine gets to start pulling himself in, and this and that, and this and that, and this and that. I understand with the custom meatball competition that they can, because they mean it. But anyway, I just had to train that little snippet. But we all know how Conte celebrates when, his teams, whoever he's managing, scores. He does, he's very, very passionate. I think what hurt Tuchel and prompted the reaction, because to me, Tuchel was the instigator on both instances. What, annoyed him is probably the fact that, like you said, y'all didn't get the full on.
Not only that, but he also went out of his technical area to come closer to our bench to celebrate as well.
Interesting. Nevertheless, we all get carried away. Touchlines are quite close. So anyway, but to go crawl, and then at the full time whistle, Conte does offer a time for the handshake, and to go keep the man holding a point at his club with
the man said, "Look, the man in his face."
I want to know that he's the boy father, principal.
The man said,
"You're a person that should have
culture,
a look in your eyes." Listen, you're a person that should have a look in your eyes. It's Romelu Lukaku. We should tell you look in your eyes last year when he played the back side. I tell him that he won't go back to Italy East to get him 8 balls. You should have told him then. But anyhow,
I'm sure he did.
Oh please, but just joking. All jokes aside, I think Tuchel don't crawl with Conte, because I end of the day when you all went to 1-up Tuchel did run past Tottenham bench, fist pumping.
Very rightfully.
But what I'm trying to say, right? Don't take out the Taylor and VAR officials mistakes on Antonio Conte, man. Tottenham been refereeing again. These referees.
At the end of
You
the
should
day,
have
both
won Taylor.
managers.
You know what I'm saying? I don't let go until Taylor. We go tell you. Don't pick a fight with Conte.
At the end of the day, both managers don't play, and I didn't really see why we need to talk about it. It is what it is. Emotions, heated, whatever.
Look, listen. We all know Antonio Conte. He don't play as much as he like. When y'all come to White Hart Lane, it'd be very interesting to see if
more fighting
from that game.
More fighting.
Exactly.
More fighting.
Antonio Conte don't play as much as he like. You know, to add money Antonio Conte. Anyhow, want to head to predictions for this weekend's games?
Of course, my favorite part.
I'll let you go through the games, and you can go first, and I'll go second. You might retard.
Spurs versus Wolves. I hope they get beat.
Yeah, okay, Tai. Okay, Benjamin.
I'm sure that it will probably be. I haven't seen Wolves play for the season, so I don't really know, but maybe a 2-0, 3-0 Spurs.
Okay, I'm not confident. I think Spurs will need 2-0.
Okay. Bournemouth, Arsenal away at Bournemouth.
Away at Bournemouth. Okay.
I think this can draw 1-1.
Interesting. I think Jesus is a problem, so I'm going 2-0 to Arsenal.
Oh, now you believe Jesus is a problem?
No. I think he's a purple patch footballer. Say purple patch in that. But purple patch with you watch first, right? Stephen Smith. As he says before, boys. What can go wrong will go wrong. So at some point, Jesus starts scoring as regularly. A purple patch footballer.
All right. I just think that Bournemouth have a very good manager, and away at Bournemouth is never easy. So I think this will be 1-1.
Scott Parker?
Yeah, I think he's a good manager.
Okay, fair enough. I'm not for Scott Parker. But I just think the way how Arsenal are starting games right now, in all seriousness, I just think the way Arsenal are starting games, that Arsenal are able to get the first goal, and they're seeming to get in the habit of scoring 1 or 2 in quick succession.
Yeah.
So I think if Arsenal are able to get to 0, I think Arsenal will run with fixtures from there.
All right, let's see. Chelsea away at Leeds. Indeed. This can be another feisty one. I think we win. I think we win 2-1 or 3-2.
I'm going to go for 1-1 draw.
Bad mind to all here.
No, it's not bad mind. I have my reasons, but it's not bad mind.
I'm just fretting you.
Okay, just clarify. We have people who are listening, they may meet me at some point and think I bad mind. Anyway,
oh boy.
Keep going.
City away at Newcastle.
Oh Lord.
I think this game be tricky,
It will be.
I don't know. I want to say 1-1, but I just think City will ultimately win 2-0. So I go 2-0 City.
I have City to win 2-1.
Okay.
But I think it'll be a close game. Or I don't think it'll be. I don't think it'll be like a big KFC blow up Newcastle away.
Yeah, I agree. Man United, Liverpool.
That game on Monday.
Oh yeah,
on Sunday. So this is last week.
This is funny.
Right.
I think I don't want to laugh. I just laughing at something that you have messaged me. You said if Man you win them can be above you. So I just find that funny. I think Liverpool can win this 2-0 though.
Okay.
Maybe even 3. Maybe even 4. But I think Liverpool will win convincingly, honestly.
You're just gassing me up now. All right. I have Liverpool to win 3-0 as well, to be honest. That's my prediction. I was gonna say 3-0. I think ultimately Liverpool will win. But I mean, even if Man U does win, and gives us all a short result, that will hurt me to the core, just because the match is made, and because then I'll really have a poor start this season. The
Might
good
not
thing
see
about
you next week on the podcast, man.
no, I'll be here. I feel so. I'll be here. I'm for the man. But the good thing about it though, if Man Utd were to win, is that it's not so important where you are in August. It's more important where you are in May. So it could be in front of me, but I don't know if they stay there. But
Spoken like somebody that won't preempt
I'm
something.
predicting that Liverpool win through now. I didn't hear that. Can you repeat?
I said spoken like somebody that wants to preempt something in case there's something bad happen, but okay.
Yeah, you gotta go your business cover, man.
Right.
Go see that. Go what protection the back for, man. So go put that in there.
So something a bit different. If you had to choose one of the basics games to have a short result, which one do you think it would be?
He's so wicked. I think it would be the Newcastle Man City game. If Newcastle were to get something from the game, I think that would be more. Well, sorry. I think the Man Utd beating Liverpool would be more of a shock, but I think the Newcastle
was more likely to happen.
Oh, sorry, my bad. Right. I think the Newcastle Man City game is more likely to happen, but I think Man Utd beating Liverpool right now will be more of a shock.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah. Almost got messed up there, but yeah, that's what I meant.
All right, so I guess now we could touch on a bit of cricket. West Indies, as usual, being our primary concern. So, we had the recent T20 series against New Zealand. Concludes, when was the last game? Sunday, right? I think it was.
I believe so, yes.
Right. Familiar problems. Familiar problems. I think for me was really, really our biggest problem is our death bowling. I don't know how much of the series you followed, but I remember the first game. We were really bowling well, really playing well. And Jason Holder went for 23 in the final over, which really propelled New Zealand to a good score. And I don't like to put the blame on one person or one thing for cricket, because cricket is a long game. But considering that we started the final over of that match needing 26, it really seemed to be a match losing over. And I find that clearly we don't know the best persons to bowl at the death. So I found in the series we were kind of chopping and changing who would be the death bowler, whether it be Jason, whether it be Shepherd, whether it be Alzari in one of the games I think he played. So I don't know how we solve this issue, to be honest. And then for me, another big issue we had was losing so many wickets in the power play. We lose 3 wickets in the power play way, way too regularly. And that's not a good foundation to win games from. When you think about it, the partnership between Odin Smith and Romario Shepherd that got us up to at least challenging New Zealand in that first match was what positions did they bat at? Like maybe 7 and 8 or 6 and 7, but I think it was 7 and 8. Because the top order continuously fails. I think was that the match we were like 5 or 6 down for like nothing. I can't remember, but we really do need to work on those two things. Our power play batting and our death bowling is an issue for me.
Okay. Well, I didn't really follow much of the series.
Okay.
But
yeah, you want good cricket on Sunday.
Yes.
So how far you is?
Wait. In Barbados, right?
Yes.
So I think and I'm on vacation, so I think I shall go. Simple as. And tickets were for it. So thank you, WICB for that. Not pricing out this time.
You know what? That deserves an applause for real. Honestly,
It's true.
That's very good. That's very good on them for real.
It's true. No, long may it continue. But yes. But I mean, okay, but not to say it doesn't make any sense watching. But I think the same things that you mentioned would have been the same things that we discussed previously when I did watch some of the India series.
Yep.
Death bowling, losing wickets in the power play, the ability to take some wickets in the power play as well.
Yeah.
Basically, I listen to you and I close my eyes and I envision what that game may have looked like rather. And something you said about and I think I mentioned that last time we did discuss cricket in terms of there being a challenge when it comes to identifying the best option for a death bowler. I've seen us use a spinner or two in the India series. I think it was Hussaini in one of the games.
Yeah.
And we use Shepherd, like you said, and then we use Holder. And I think I said that. I said what that tells me is that they're not so sure about who is the best option to bowl at depth. And the only way you can really deal with that situation is by playing more cricket and getting an opportunity to bowl in those type of situations. So I'm not so sure if they can try to practice it in terms of just picking squads and let's say okay we're gonna have a game of 5 overs and or we're gonna just fantasy type stuff. Say well the batsmen are on this score and let's bowl over and see if we can limit them to challenge like little challenges just to make it more realistic as you can and try to go bowl it that way. I'm not so sure. Maybe that's about it, but I think you can only get better the more you play or the more you're put in those situations. So I know that, but the bad thing about it is that you can't really. It's very difficult to practice on your flight because as much as like for example, if I would have had a bad over in the first game, then you can't be you're in a similar situation in the second the second T20 or what's not. Do you bowl holder again? And hope that he learns from your experience because if you keep on changing, then you don't really give the person opportunity to rectify the problem.
Right.
Yeah. So that's a challenge too. So
my
that's
other issue too.
The captain got work out.
Yeah, my other issue too is the composition of the side for the New Zealand series. I get we're trying things because the World Cup running corner. You want to give everybody a shot. You want to try different things, but Shamar Brooks in our 2020 side is a no for me. It's just a no. I suspect he only played because I think Brandon King got a slight injury either at the end of the end of the India series or the beginning of the New Zealand series. I'm not sure, but it's a no for me. He got 56 not out in the last T20 that we won. Congratulations, West Indies, on at least winning one of the games. But came at less than a run a ball. You cannot be doing that as an opener batsman in T20 cricket. The game has evolved now that you don't need people to go at under 100. Like, if he was chasing a base score, that would have been a match-losing innings. So for me, he could be in our ODI setup. He's done quite well in our ODI team this year. But T20 cricket is a no for me in our international side. So I hope, and I am not a fan of Devon Thomas either in our T20s. I know he won a game. Pardon? Yeah, he won a game. The one game we won against India, he played a key hand. So I give him that. And he's not a bad player, but I don't like what West Indies are doing in they're clearly trying to pick a keeper so Pooran doesn't keep wicket. That's what it's telling me. But I would rather I get called a name, but you can laugh. I would rather you pick up Andre Fletcher before Devon Thomas. Honestly. Just say Andre Fletcher just say Andre Fletcher at top of the order. They scored like quick 10 or 20 runs, and I prefer that than Devon Thomas in our middle order. That is just my personal opinion.
How about none?
But then who you can play? Clearly they don't want Pooran to keep, so who are you gonna play?
Who can play cricket?
He can, but he hasn't been great lately. The last CPL he played for the Barbados team was not great. So I don't know if that's something that they want to try. But you know what? I'll be open to that too, honestly. I wouldn't mind that.
I think that's your best option.
You know what? I would leave Shea as a outside back for our squad if he has a good CPL. Because I think he switched franchises now as well. So maybe a new franchise, a new environment. You never know. I still have hope that he could revitalize his Test and T20 career to become an all-format player for the West Indies. So, you never know. He would be a great option, though. I would prefer him to Thomas or Fletcher, to be honest. But go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I also noticed too that I was listening to Carol Cricket podcast today as well, and they said that Rovman Powell has been speaking about potentially moving back up the order to 4 because I think he
Mhm.
was either batting at 5 or 6.
Mhm.
And I hope that they do that because when he came back against England and he had that amazing century at Kensington Oval, I found he played best batting at 4. And I
Mhm.
think that to have, if we're gonna stick with Puran at 3, I am not a huge fan of that. Let me just put that out there. I prefer Puran to bat at 4 or 5. But if we're gonna play Puran at 3, I would not mind Powell at 4 and then Hetmeyer at 5. I think that's a really good engine room. And then you have the all rounders to come. So I don't know. I think yes, our batting is a concern. I mean, we lose way too much wickets, but I think, gosh, if we could get our bowling right, like the one game we bowled well, we won because you
Mhm.
didn't have much to chase. Same thing against India. When we skittled out India, I think it was for 138. You didn't have much to chase. You still make a meal of it, but you still end
Right.
up winning the game because I think bowlers is what will win you matches.
Right.
So and this is why I think I remember telling you this last year before the T20 World Cup. A lot of people slammed us, and rightfully so. But people do not realize that losing Obed McCoy and Fabian Allen, our two best bowlers leading up to the World Cup, was a huge loss for the West Indies. And you're now seeing the impact that Obed has on the side. He's been really great since he's come back in. I'm hoping that Allen could come back in soon too, and that will give our batting some more depth and our bowling some more depth as well. Give Akil Hussain some much needed support in spin bowling department because Hayden Walsh Jr. is, I don't know, he's really inconsistent. I'm a fan, but he's too
But
inconsistent.
I told you that when I first saw him bowl his name. Nah, man. Anyway, hush. Okay.
Yeah, but I mean,
Yes.
we need a quality leg spinner. All good teams have a quality leg spinner, and I
Yeah,
think,
but he in it.
man, I still back at Hayden to come good, but right now he ain't it for real.
All right, but somebody can mention we touched on about Hetmeyer at 5. I'm not sure I like Hetmeyer at 5. I feel like as much as 3 and 4, but especially 3 is a key position. I feel as though 5 is a key position too. And when you
It
talk about a team
is.
like the West Indies, who
Mhm.
often find themselves, 3 or 4 down early,
Mhm.
Hetmeyer could play, but Hetmeyer problem is his temperament. His
Mhm. Mhm.
shot selection is often, get himself out. I'm not
Yeah.
so sure if I want him at 5 to go, to go give you a wicket. Because I don't know if I could trust you to shepherd, to bat the little overs or shepherd your tail for a little bit before you actually ready to explode. Because he always
So
want to
what's
explode.
your so what's your ideal position for him?
I mean, ideal position for him was also number 4. Round on 5
Mm.
or 6 is also 4 for me.
But I think Powell is by heart for.
Well, I mean, you know what? Same, especially with those kind of players, it doesn't have to be a fixed position. You come in according to the state of the game, who you think can play the situation better.
True.
Some teams do that too. So,
Yeah.
because
That's a
there's
good
nothing in
point.
law that says, if it's slated to come out 5, you got to come out 5.
Yeah. Fair
So I think
enough.
maybe that should be the approach in most cases.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. But I am worried. I'm worried about our qualifier group though. Because we got qualified
Who's in our group?
before Zimbabwe, Ireland, and Scotland.
Well, yeah, you did tell
I've
me that
seen
before.
I've seen Ireland play cricket recently. Ireland is a force here. Ireland pushed New Zealand all the way recently. I think in both the ODIs and T20s, they look a serious side. Zimbabwe are also playing some good cricket. Like West Indies are gonna need to play really well and not do nonsense in order to qualify from that group. I'm being honest.
There's a qualifier for
Honest.
2020 World Cup, right?
Yeah, because we didn't.
Right,
I can't even remember how it worked, but basically we weren't in the top 8,
right.
so
I
now
remember.
we gotta qualify to, yeah.
Yeah, I just want to
So
make sure it's the 2020 World Cup.
I'm a little
Um,
worried, but let's see.
well, I know we worried about because I think you didn't come on the show and said that, spoiler alert, not
No,
prediction, spoiler.
that was the
West
ODI
Indies.
World Cup. That was for
Whatever,
the
whatever.
ODI World Cup. Yeah.
I thought you meant both.
Nah, I ain't met
Um,
both.
okay. All right. When the qualifiers taking place?
I ain't sure the World Cup is in October, so maybe sometime in September. Are you sure?
Oh,
Or maybe even in the same October.
And qualifiers are playing where?
In Australia too.
Australia, okay. Okay, nice. Well, heard it here first, folks. We can either have a very, very, peaceful September, or we can have a very, angry one.
Oh
Because,
boy.
if Westies don't qualify, Marissa can let them have it. She
Not
come here, she
me.
fall and raise her voice.
Not
Yes, you
me.
will. Yes, you will.
West Indies don't got me that height no more. Again, speaking of which, so we are going cricket on Sunday to watch
Right.
this third ODI. You might then see me get height. Like watching West Indies live is brought a different monster in me than when I'm home. Honestly, I don't know why. It's just something about watching that frustrating cricket live that has got me. But anyways, do you think this series can still be alive then?
Of course. Well, which scores now?
100 for 3, chasing 191.
91. Right. I watched a
But
bit
it
of
is the
the
West Indies though.
It is the West Indies, yes. But you know what? Praise be to Jah. It's looking like, we got a series and not a dead rubber. So,
I can only say so when it's 191 and we win the game.
hold
I
on.
know
You have that little faith in the West Indies?
Yep, I have that little faith.
But you know what is verified, is substantial, is justified. But you have that little faith in the West Indies. But I think we'll get across it. I'm backing the boys, man. Backing the boys in my room to make sure I have a series for life on Sunday.
You back the boys in my room. The crowd at Kensington actually don't look too bad for a Wednesday though, to be honest. That's really good to see. Pages still love the cricket.
Yeah, and plus the game started too as well, so the night, so people were able to get for it and still get there.
Yeah.
I was effort, yeah. So so providing that West Indies do win this game, do you think they can get another win in the series? I win to 1 or 3-0?
No. This is the worst that you're gonna see New Zealand play.
Fair enough, but it's not. But okay, but is this the best you're going to see West Indies play? Can West Indies not go to another level? I provide a bit of consistency. I mean, I won't put money on it, but still, just a question.
I have concerns over our batting. Like after Puran, because Puran ain't is then because Kisi Karti bat at 4. He's a decent young player, but he's still finding his way in international cricket. Then you got Jermaine Blackwood. Like Blackwood's my boy. Don't get me wrong, but you never know what version of Jermaine Blackwood you're gonna get.
Correct.
So that is exactly the most reliable option. And then who's after him now? I don't even know who batting after him, but I'm a little concerned. I'm surprised Ravman Paul isn't playing. I wonder why. It's a strange decision.
I have one more question for you. I saw we have a new spin bowler, or at least new to me. Correa, that's his name.
Yannick Correa. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thoughts on him.
Oh right, I was supposed to bring that up. Thank you for mentioning that. He is a leggy, which I think is good. As I tell you, I think every good white ball side needs a leg spinner. And this was actually, I've heard the name before because he's been around the regional circuit for a while. But this is the first time that I've actually seen him bowl, and he don't look bad.
Yeah, I saw him
he was pretty decent.
He got the ball, LBW, and I was impressed because normally West Indies players don't get the ball LBW like that. Well, seriously, you know the ball talking about right to left-handed?
Yeah, I saw it. No, it was still right-handed.
Right-handed or my back?
I can't remember, but yeah, I saw the dismissal.
Yeah. But yeah, when the Hawkeye show, like, I was like, oh, okay. What if that ball's a fluke or he had to?
Yeah, it was a nice delivery.
It was a really nice
delivery. Yeah.
I mean, I should judge somebody off of one delivery, but I was like, okay, because West Indies spinners don't generally get to go like that.
Right. So I think that's an interesting pick. And I wonder if it's a pick with the view of maybe, just hear me out, maybe a T20 World Cup place. Because as I said, every good white ball side needs a leg spinner. And even though the T20 World Cup playing in Australia, and I know this is a different format, but even though the T20 World Cup playing in Australia, you still need a quality spinner. We got Akil Hussain, who's done really well for us this year, but I still think he needs a partner in the spin bowling department to offer support.
Yes, because I agree.
So I think that if this guy Correa could have, because trying a few good games together, you never know.
Yeah, I agree. Hussain definitely does need some help. But remember when we talked about spinners initially, I told you, but I didn't like watch, but I think Hussain got something about him.
Yeah.
Granted, he can be expensive too, but he got something about him. At least I see him as more of a wicket taker than I
I
do.
agree.
Well, I've never, honestly, God, right? I'm not judging Walsh Jr. or by any means saying that he's not good. I just, in the glimpses that I've seen, I've watched a couple, like 2 weeks started about watching, a bit, cricket, it is. I've never seen him bowl well.
But that's the thing. When he first came on the scene in the CPL for the Barbados Tridents at the time, he was brilliant. Like I always said, because I saw he was from the British Virgin Islands and he represented the US, and I was like, gosh, I would love his West Indies call it this guy, and they did. And he started his career well, but I don't know what's happened. I really don't. But yeah, Yannick Correa looks like a decent bowler, and I'm looking forward to see how he does in the rest of the series. He's 30, but people can have careers to all kind of ages now.
It's
So
true.
I am not gonna discount a man because he making his
True.
debut at 30.
Yeah.
So and we need quality spinners. We need quality spinners.
And there were some other qualities. Well, yeah, there were some other decent spinners that we had that came into the side a bit older too late. Samuel Badri, for example, he was
Yes.
by the time he came in, so it's not
And
unprecedented.
he was so invaluable to our T20 side.
20 side, yeah,
honestly,
yeah.
He used to set up that power play so good for us.
Correct.
We need that again. So fingers crossed Correa could do well. I think I saw they gave a debut to Kevin Sinclair. He's an off spinner from Guyana. Decent prospect, decent bowler. But yeah, I just want to see spin bowling develop in the region. We got a good crop of fast bowlers, in my opinion. Just put a couple good quality spinners in there, and we could have more days like this when we bowl a world class side, because New Zealand is a world class side for 190. We did bowl really well today, though.
Impressed. Yeah, we did. Yeah, I did. I watched a bit of it, from maybe come from my living room. So yeah, so we'll see how the series turns. I guess we'll revisit it before at the end of it, right? Correct. At the conclusion.
For sure.
So I'll make sure
give our thoughts next week Wednesday on how West Indies look live.
Correct. Yeah,
because I think this will be the first time. I think this will be the first time that I'm seeing a lot of these players play. Like, I don't think I've ever seen Shea Hope play live, so that's something I'm looking forward to as well. Puran, I don't know. Maybe for the Guyana Amazon Warriors.
I've seen Puran play bad live already. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it. I don't think I've seen Alzari live. I'm looking forward to see how quick he looks. Because when you're sitting down in Greenwich and he stands, you just really see the ball zipping through. So I'm looking forward to see how quick he is. Because I think I've been noticing, at least watching on TV, he seems to have gotten quicker. So I guess I'll see on Sunday how much quicker. But I'm actually looking forward to it. Regardless if it's a dead rubber or not, I'm genuinely looking forward to it.
Dead rubber. We can meet today. We can meet tonight, sorry.
All right.
We can meet tonight, man. We get across the lane.
I hope many listeners.
You get across the lane.
I hope many listeners listening to this on Friday when we release it that they're laughing at you.
They'll laugh at me for what? But they know the best news. They know the best news. It just be my bad, my mistake. Kadir. But I believe that best news will get across the lane.
All right.
I can't fathom that 100 all runs with just 3 wickets. No, you can't get home from there with so many overs to play, to bat out. But again, it's West Indies, correct. We lose wickets in clusters, but not tonight.
Exactly. All right.
Not tonight.
All right.
But
you heard it here first. What's that?
I was gonna say it would be better if we lose wickets in clusters tonight rather than on Sunday, because I really want to hear you out in my eardrum. Keeping a lot of noise. But
wow.
So if West Indies gonna pick a time to do foolishness, right?
That's fast.
Don't lose wickets and clusters. Don't do no foolishness on Sunday. At least play a good game. Keep it tight. So I'm Marissa, don't scream off my head and stuff like that.
That is so much fast. Like, honestly, my message to John, I just get on so bad here. Like, anyways, I can maintain my composure here. That's what I will promise you. I'll maintain my composure. I will just sit there in silence and shake my head.
We shall see. I hear you. All right, folks. Well, this has been a wonderful discussion, a debate at times, but we've come to the end of another edition of the Dugout Podcast. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you, or well, rather, you'll hear from us next time.